Hello everyone. I am incredibly bored in COVID isolation, so I figured I'd put my film degree to some use and make my first ever YouTube video. So as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking to you guys about trends for 2022 that I absolutely just have to find in a thrift store. Now, I love thrifting clothes. I'd say 80% of my wardrobe is thrifted. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my to thrift list, as well as the trends that I think are going to be coming in 2022 that you can definitely find in thrift stores or op shops. In Australia, we call them op shops. I also just want to say I know my audio and video quality isn't great. This is my first ever video and I'm just using my phone and headphones clearly. But I've been wanting to do a YouTube for a little while. I love connecting with people and talking about fashion. I love info dumping. And I think this is a really great place to start doing that because TikTok only allows for 3 minutes. So the first thing on my list actually kind of relates to the Y2K trend we all know is going on, and it's anything neon. I'm obsessed with bright colours. As you can tell, I love wearing bright things. In the early 2000s and 2010s, neon was a huge thing. I remember growing up and just wearing full neon outfits as like a 12, 13-year-old, all built from like Supre and stuff like that. Absolutely iconic. I think we're seeing the resurgence of this neon trend in a very different way. You know, back in the 2010s and 2000s, it was a little tacky. It was a little like crop tops with the wide open, tank sides and like, I don't know, tassels cut out of tops and stuff like that. But I think we're going to see it come back in a pretty fun way, just being incorporated into everyday outfits. At least that's something I want to do. So whenever I find something in a thrift store that is a neon colour, mostly neon greens and oranges, anything neon is something I'm definitely going to be grabbing off the rack. Not everything, because not everything's going to work for me, but I think that's something I'm pretty excited about. 2022, neons. We've had some pretty dull years, so why not brighten it up? Alright, so number 2 on the list is something that is kind of actually on its way out that I never got into, but now I want to get into because I don't think it'll ever be truly out, and that is anything fluffy, anything furry. But mostly like a white fur coat or shawl is like the item I'm looking for most. Yeah, we've seen, fluffy bags and fluffy hats and all that sort of stuff be really on trend, especially in America over the past winter. And obviously Australian winter's coming up, so that is something that we could be adopting. I don't know that it gets cold enough here to, have all those really fluffy, warm accessories. I think it's still something I'm really excited about. I love incorporating texture into my looks, and fur and like obviously faux fur. And fluffy textures are something I'm really looking forward to finding more of. Alright, this next one is a bit more of a basic, but it's like a basic that's going to be used to elevate looks. I really want to find bright coloured turtlenecks, or skivvies. I call them skivvies. I want to find bright colours to layer underneath things this winter. I actually already own one. It's green and I love green and it's my absolute favourite thing, and I could buy it off the site that I originally bought it from, but fast fashion, if we can avoid it, that is great. I think it just creates such an elevated look, especially when you're trying to be warm, but you don't want to have to take on a coat, take off a coat, take on a coat, take off a coat. And here in Australia, if you wear a skivvy, you may not even need a coat in winter because it doesn't get freezing cold. So yeah, I think skivvies, bright coloured skivvies are definitely on my thrift list. Okay, this one I have been searching for. Literally, I've been scrolling my entire COVID isolation, even before that. I have wanted one of these for so long and I just haven't found the perfect one within my price range. I want like a true 80s style windbreaker. I really want like a turquoise, purple and pink one. That would be my ideal colour palette for a windbreaker. But I think any true 80s, like true vintage 80s windbreaker is on my thrift list. I found a few, but they sell for so much money. I found some that are like relatively affordable, but some of these windbreakers go for over $100, and I'm just really excited to see this come back. I think my mum's excited to see this come back, considering she grew up in the 80s, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how people pair it in a more casual way. They're going to be worked in to be a bit more grungy, a bit more casual, and I think that's really exciting. I'm excited to style one when I eventually get one. So, we have all seen that crocheting and knitting is becoming way more popular than it ever was. That's why I think we're going to be seeing an uprise of knitted layering of clothing. I think that distressed knit look is going to be really coming in, layering, multiple different knits over each other, especially super crop knits with the long sleeves are very, very, very on their way in. And I would like to jump on that trend. That's a trend I am a huge fan of. I don't personally possess the skills to knit or crochet anything. I'm a sewer, not a knitter. I'm really on the lookout for anything knitted, especially with wider holes. I think just that fishnet type knit is way better for layering. Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what I can find. I've been keeping an eye out on a lot of small business pages that I love, who I know can crochet and knit and all that sort of stuff, and I think a lot of those stores are going to start selling these things in the coming months. I know in America they're talking about it being a more spring summer trend, over the swimmers and stuff like that, but I think going into winter here in Australia it could also be really cool, like 3 or 4 different layers of knits. Like, that's kind of sick. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be cool, I think. Alright, and the absolute last thing on my list, although I'm always looking for more, but the last thing on this list is bright pants. So I don't personally own a lot of pants, and I think with winter coming up, obviously pants are going to be in because they never go out. But for me and my personal style and my wardrobe, I don't just do the black jeans, I don't just do the blue jeans. It has to be something a bit more elevated for my personal style. So I'm always on the hunt for, bright coloured pants, and that links with the neons. I'd love to find neon pants. Oh my god, how cool would that be? Like neon wide-legged pants. Wide leg pants specifically is kind of what I'm on the hunt for, because then you do like baggy on the bottom, tight on the top type vibe. Which is something I love, and you can also layer a dress over, baggy pants. That's very, very Y2K. As you can see, I'm clearly very into the Y2K trend, but in a different way. Like, I think there's bits of it that I love, there's bits of it that I hate, but it's definitely influencing my fashion this year, as well as, a million other things. Alright guys, thank you for watching my first ever YouTube video. I apologise for any of the shitty audio or mistakes that I may make, but hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of me on this platform. So subscribe if you feel like it, like if you feel like it, comment if you feel like it, but I'm never going to make you do anything. So thanks for watching.